Welcome back to Rebel Movement Podcast. My name is Billy. My pronouns are they, them, or she, her. And I'm really happy you're here. I'm kind of blown away that we're almost at 100 episodes of the podcast. I don't think that I thought that I would be here. When I first started, this was a podcast with two hosts, myself and the lovely Jordan, who hasn't been around for, I don't know, I'm just looking really quick. Since like episode 53. So we did the first year together, and then they had some life changes, which actually, when this comes out, it'll be almost 2 years of doing the podcast. Whoa, that's really cool. I mean, I guess that makes sense. 52 weeks in a year times two. Does that make sense? Yeah, because I also have a couple of episodes that are not, I didn't count as the like towards episode numbers because they're little minis or little meditations. Which if you haven't checked them out, go ahead and scroll down. There's I think 4 different meditations on here. On here being the podcast. So yeah, I honestly I feel like this should have been the 100th episode, but it just feels like I want to talk about it right now. And maybe it will be the 100th episode. Maybe I'll save it for then. We'll see. I when I first started, like I thought about doing a podcast for quite a while. I've been a business owner since 2020, October 2020, and so that's currently almost almost 4 years. That's not right. It's 2024. So yeah, I guess so. I thought I was a business owner for longer than that. No, I thought I just had my 4-year mark. Anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter. I've been a business owner. We're just gonna say 4 years because I feel really confused right now. For 4 years, and I didn't start a podcast till a couple of years in, and I'd been thinking about it for a long time, but it felt like something that I just like didn't know how to do, and it felt like this big scary thing, and I didn't think I'd have the motivation. I'm neurodivergent. Sometimes projects like this feel a little bit tricky for me to do by myself, just because I have them difficult to get to doing it, get distracted by other things. So when it was really nice to have Jordan to help, like to kind of help set the, I don't know, help get the momentum going. And then when Jordan left, I wasn't sure if I would want to do a solo podcast, or continue it or whatever, if I'd be able to do it. But I mean, here we are, like a year later. I did take a break over the summertime. I had some pretty rough personal things going on, but I don't know. Here I am still doing podcast episodes, and they're still going really well. I think it's your listenership and feedback and everything has gotten better. I have new headphones now, so it's super fancy. Pretty big things. I'm pretty excited. Almost 100 episodes feels a little wild. Still a small group of you listening, but I really appreciate every single one of you. It's actually gone up. The amount of like followers has gone up quite a bit the last couple of weeks, which is cool. I have some exciting news for you, which I can't tell you yet. So I'm just going to have to keep on holding it in.
Hi, it's me giving you a little update. I actually don't have an exciting update. I did have someone had been interested in sponsoring my podcast, which was the exciting update I was alluding to, because we had a really great conversation, and it was everything was seeming good, but then at the last second, their decision was no, which is a little disappointing, but I'm sure hopefully it's the first of a couple opportunities like this. Other than that, I do have a personal exciting news, is I've been doing a lot of building and gardening, and I'm sure I'll let you know how that goes in future episodes. There is also now, this is my soft launch. I'm changing up the tiers of the Rebel Movement Club, and there's now a lower priced option for anybody who is wanting to be practicing online and doing movement, but life is just sort of getting in the way right now. There's an opportunity to do a membership for the Rebel Movement Club that's only $50 a month. You get 2 live classes, as well as, or their recordings, as well as the on-demand with this. And I'll put the link in the show notes so you can go check that out. And another exciting update is I'm now an ambassador for Offering Tree. Offering Tree is the company that hosts my website, that all my website is through. And if you haven't checked it out, it's movewithbilly.com. It gives you opportunity to have on-demand classes. So like have an on-demand library, whether that's yoga classes or workshops or meditations or whatever you do, you can book clients right through the website. You can put out your newsletter through it. Kind of has checks all the boxes. And if you use the link in the show notes, you get quite a big discount. I think it's 15% off your like a yearly membership or 50% off your first 3 months. So if you use the link in the show notes for that, you can get a really big discount. And it also supports me as a small business. I get a little bit of payment if you use my link. So go ahead and use the link in the show notes. Thanks so much for listening to this update.
Some other updates, I guess. They're not as big though. They're not like as exciting. Well, some of them are pretty exciting. Anyway, one of my wins is that I was recently featured in the Connected Yoga Teacher podcast, who's Shannon Crow was on this podcast a little while ago, so you can go back and listen to that. Shannon Crow is amazing. She's just been so supportive and lovely. We've connected quite a bit over the last few months, but she posted one of my podcast episodes on her podcast. And it's actually, you've probably heard it here before because it's one that I posted a while ago. Do you remember the episode when I read my newsletter about having trouble making content with everything happening in Palestine? And I talked about that. She posted that episode on her page, which is so fantastic and so kind. And I don't know. It's called the episode. I posted it on this podcast. It's episode 87. My heart wasn't in it. Yeah, I was just sorry. I have my water bottle. I feel like it's making a lot of bloopy sounds in the background. Just so nice that she felt so moved by my newsletter and podcast that she wanted to make it her own, like put it in her own thing. So that's cool. I also finally have a Google business listing. I had one before, but I couldn't get it verified for so long. Just because a lot of weird things happened. Like I was using an address and then I never got you're supposed to get like a postcard to verify it. And I never got it, never got it like for a solid couple of like year. And then I changed it. I tried to do something else. Didn't work. Tried to do another thing. It didn't work. Then it wouldn't let me do any edits or answer any reviews or anything, and it just felt like, oh, this hopeless thing. So then I finally figured out how to do it. Like I finally fixed all those things. I finally had it verified, talked to people at Google, as my stepkid put it. I talked to Google, and one-on-one time with Google. It was a lovely person who works at Google, but still seems pretty cool to say it that way. Now it's officially verified, which is cool. It means I can reply to reviews and stuff like that. If you've worked with me through Move with Billy or any type of one-on-one coaching or yoga teaching, movement teaching, I would love it if you could leave me a review there. Also, since we're here, please review this podcast. Subscribe, share. I keep this. And the last time I recorded this, my brain wants to combine the word subscribe and share and say subscribe. Anyway. I think there's more things, but some of the stuff I can't tell you about yet. So that's probably why I feel like that. I'm guessing. In terms of personal updates, I have been having this like some sort of allergic reaction off and on for the past 2 weeks. My whole body is itchy. I've had like literal hives. If you know me or if you listened to this before, you might know that I have a bunch of allergies. Some of them are things like citrus, gluten, and then also things I can't really pronounce. Methyl, blah, 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 something. It's a really long word. It's often in soaps and detergents and stuff like that, cosmetics. I'm also allergic to thimerosal, which is in some vaccines. Doesn't mean I don't get vaccines. BPS, I'm just going to put that out there. I just have to, if I get a flu shot, it has to be a certain type of flu shot, the kind that does not have thimerosal. Most things don't use thimerosal and have been safe for me, so that's good. It just means I have to check with my doctor first before getting vaccines. Um, so I don't know what this is now. It's really annoying. I have a really hard time being itchy. I find it very, something about it is extremely um exhausting. It's just so I'm so it's like it takes up like 60% of my capacity and then I have like 40% to operate with and it feels like, oh my God, it's like so overwhelming. It's like sensory overload thing. I have a very hard time being itchy. I get very frustrated. So that's been really annoying. I also have a really hard time not itching because I tend to fidget a lot. And when I'm itchy, the fidget tends to be to itch, which is going to make it itchier, which is a whole annoying circular thing. It's springtime. I don't know if it's maybe it's an environmental thing. I have no idea. It's hard because I'm in a different environment. I don't think I've changed that much. Like I've been using the same soap, same conditioner, same shampoo for a long time, like for several months, and now I'm having the reactions. Doesn't make any sense to me. Using slightly different products in my like skincare, but it's not, my face is the only part that's not itchy, so it's not that. Anyway, it's really honestly really fucking annoying. Um, it's my first spring living in Prince Edward County, and I'm pretty excited about it. We have some plans to do a garden. We're gonna do. I want to do a raised bed because I don't know. I have it. I don't remember why I have it in my head. I just think it'd be really cool because I really want to try some companion planting um and things like that because it's just so fascinating to me. I think it's so cool. So I want to do a raised bed, and my partner we'll probably also want to have like just a non-raised bed garden thing too. Um, we have the space for it. We have to set up for it and stuff like that. I'm really excited about it. I haven't had last year, a couple of years ago, I did tomato plants at my partner's house, but it was far away and I didn't actually get to go. Like, it's not like I could go out there often. So, this is going to be the first time in my adult life that I have a vegetable garden. When I was younger, and like an outdoor garden, when I was younger, we had my grandmother used to do vegetable gardens a lot. And I remember one of them particularly was gigantic. It felt gigantic to me anyway. And I loved it. I thought it was so cool. We didn't really have one when we moved, but um, the idea of like being able to like pick a tomato and eat it, or like homegrown cucumbers, whatever, and the fact that like I can just go out to the garden, love it. I am gonna get gloves though, because if I'm also afraid of bugs, spiders particularly, and I know that in your garden spiders are good things. Um, so I'm gonna have to have gloves, maybe some closed shoes of some sort. Maybe I'll wear my steel toes, probably not. Anyway, I'm excited about that. We also, I think we're going to try to do what is it called? A cold frame not greenhouse. Yeah, greenhouse. Um, I don't know if you know this about me, but when I was like 10, I really liked to build things. I tried to do only thing I can remember actually making is a tiny little, I called it a bookshelf, but it was probably like less than a foot. Um, it was very small. It was like all I had was like scrap wood because I was 10. I couldn't use a saw. Like scrap wood from our floors. We had our like floors done when we moved to the new house, and when I was that old, so you just used scrap wood, made a little box basically, like a literal like square of wood that wasn't even. It was very crooked. um, but I just loved it. And I also had some wood carving tools, which I use all the time. I'm not going to do like the wood carving thing for now, but I feel pretty excited about building this little cold frame greenhouse. And if you don't know what that is, essentially my plan is to use we have old windows on the property. Use an old window, build a box for it. So it's a little set up off the ground. The window would be like the lid, and so you can lift up the window and have like lettuce or like herbs in there too. I'm pretty excited about building it, honestly. There's a part of me that feels like oh, missed my calling. Not actually, but I feel like it's gonna be so fun. Um yeah, I'll have to let you know how that goes. I haven't done it all yet. What else? In terms of building the house, We now have, so the kids' bedrooms are nearly done. We have to build their bed frames. We have to paint one of their rooms. The downstairs, so if you've been in my classes lately, you've seen the studio. Um, it's still under construction. We still have to do the closet painting, clean the floors up, stuff like that. We also have a bathroom almost. Um, so we have a toilet. We have a tub. There's not like the hardware and stuff yet, like the tub, what do you call it? The shower head or whatever, but progression. We have a stove. So some pretty big not improvements, like pretty big steps. I'm gonna say that like 99% of those are nothing to do with me. Full credit to my partner's dad. He's doing most of the work, if not, I wouldn't say necessarily all of it, most of it. My partner's mom has been helping out too. We help when we know how to. I know how to drywall now, though. That's pretty cool. I know how to drywall and mud and use a saw. I've only done it once or twice though. Also, I know how to rip up floors. That was pretty fun. And I'm have painted quite a bit because we can do that. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like this might be nicer to have a more like personal update episode. Although I don't know that there's that much new necessarily. Excuse me. I guess there's a bit of stuff. I don't even know how long that was of me just like telling you those up. Yeah, I have been chatting more about healing from CSA, which like trigger warning right now. Childhood sexual abuse. And I've posted, I think I did not a blog, what do you call it? A newsletter a bit ago. Posted a tiny bit about it on my social media. Not tons. It is mostly still all personal stuff. Mainly my therapist. And I talk about it a little bit. Like I talk about it with my partner as well, a little bit with some of my friends, but mostly it's been a pretty personal healing process, which I think makes sense. However, one of the things that about this type of healing is that there's a lot of shame connected to it, which it's been pointed out to me that it's the abusers' shame that they gave us. But also, we don't live in a society where we necessarily believe survivors or want to hear from survivors of types of abuse. So I think it's a bit of a combo of things. So I've been talking about it a little bit more because the more we talk about it, the less shame there is, and the more we can prevent things like this from happening again. So I'm trying to be a brave person and talk about it a little bit more. I'm just gonna say it's difficult. I'm gonna potentially do just an actual episode about it in the future. That's about as much as I want to talk about it right now, but that's been a kind of a thing that I've been going through. That if you don't know, I think I talked about it here a little bit. I started healing that, like doing some of this healing and becoming more aware of it a year ago, which is a little wild to me. That it's been a whole year. So I started doing that in what month is it? Like March, April of last year. And then in June, Banana passed away. And then I had some stuff go on. I was like moving in the fall, moved here in like November, December. So it was like kind of a chaotic year of my life. And I'm just starting to feel now like, not that I'm like it's all better because there's still hard stuff going on, but I feel a little bit more myself. It feels like I'm coming out of like a big tunnel. There's still difficult times and there's still times I feel like I'm right back in that tunnel, but It was really difficult. There was definitely times where I was kind of losing my faith in my ability to run my business or just exist as a human being, or be a podcaster. um, but I think like what I just kept coming back to, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago in my newsletter, is that the actual teaching part was never hard. It was just the like marketing and all the stuff you have to do that was difficult. I just kept coming back to trying my best to be honest and authentic, which is some of my foundational like values in my business. And as a person is just authenticity to help reduce stigma and stuff like that. So just kept doing that and doing my best. And I feel pretty grateful for all of you for being here throughout this process. Grateful that you came back after my couple of month hiatus. Grateful that you've been here as we have grown, or I have grown, and this podcast has grown and changed and shifted. I have some pretty cool ideas of stuff coming up. I have some guests I think you're really gonna like. I'm pretty excited about. I haven't had some of the conversations, but I'm just really excited to have them, and I think that's going to be really nice. I'm going to continue doing some of the episodes about like I think I've called it like foundational things of like what some what anti-diet is, like we did a couple weeks ago, and like some of these things, defining terms, a little bit for folks who are teachers, how to teach online, how to practice, like how to start a practice, how to things like that. I'm excited to keep sharing with you. I think it's going to be really nice. So please make sure you stick around, subscribe, and then you'll get the notifications. I think follow me if you get notifications on your homepage when I post new videos or post new updates. Oh my God, episodes, which come out every single Thursday morning. I usually schedule it for like 7 a.m. Eastern time. I don't know if anyone listens to it right at 7 a.m., but just in case you have like a commute on Thursdays and you're like, I need something to like, get me through Thursday commute. Maybe it's this podcast, maybe it's this. I don't know. I feel like it's just been so long since I've done an episode where I'm just like talking about updates, and I haven't done one like this necessarily since it was just me as the podcast host. I don't do as much of the like banter because it's hard to do banter when it's just you. So it feels like I guess it's been a bit since I've done an update episode. We'll have to see how the next couple weeks go. So thanks so much for listening. Have a fantastic day. Bye. Oh, also, see, I'm going to have to edit this now. If you have questions, if you have feedback, if you'd like to be a guest, send me an email, info@movewithbilly.com. Thanks so much. Bye.